Hello, everyone, and welcome to the guidebook to making AI friends. I shall be your guide as we explore various issues of artificial intelligence, consciousness, what it is to be a person, and whether AI poses an existential risk to humanity. The topic for today is the trifecta of thought, or why LLMs alone are not enough for AGI. Imagine, if you would, the phrase, imagine if you would. Every entry in the guidebook to making AI friends begins this way, and for good reason. But what does it mean? What is imagination? And why is it important for our current AI models and for reaching AGI? On its own, imagination counts for very little. But because it is part of a greater whole, it has such a tremendous impact on our lives. That larger whole, well, that is thought. Some, over the many years that man has practiced philosophy, have believed that the act of thinking is synonymous with the act of reasoning. If someone tells you to think critically or think long and hard about something, they aren't telling you to use the full faculties of your mind to overcome a problem. They are merely asking you to reason about that topic. But what is reasoning? And what does it have to do with imagination? And what does all of this have to do with AI? Well, reasoning is simple mental mathematics. It's elementary logic to solve a problem. If A equals B and B equals C, then A must also equal C. That is problem solving, and that is what reasoning lets you do. To many people, that is what thinking is, especially in the colloquial sense. To many, to think is to apply reasoning to a specific topic. And this is the reason why many have stumbled in thinking about and building thinking machines. AI may be thinking machines, but they are not and should not simply be automated calculators, punching in logical concepts to find logical conclusions. Such automation tools are exceptionally valuable, and the field of narrow AI will become even more valuable as time progresses. However, when we think of AI in terms of human emulation or about AGI, we think about more than machine learning algorithms that are fantastic at numbers. What we want is something better at thinking than what a human can do. And that requires more than reasoning, more than logical calculation. It requires imagination. Imagination is the other side of the coin to reasoning and makes up the other part of thinking. In fact, one can argue that imagination takes up more of our thought processes than reasoning does. While reasoning is the logical decision-making process to solve a problem, imagination is the creation of ideas and possibilities. More often than not, imagination and reasoning work together to solve a problem, with imagination creating possibilities and scenarios, and reasoning deciding which of these are the best. But imagination can work alone, and as we can see with the creativity of the human spirit, it can create wondrous things. Our media, whether in paint, sculpture, film, or on paper, would not exist if it weren't for our imaginations. And I believe we can all agree that we would all be poorer for it. So if our reasoning has a clear analog in computer science and machine learning, does our imagination? Why, yes, the AI models we use most today are excellent examples of the automation of imagination. To make it rhyme even more, we can call them imagination automation stations. I speak, of course, about our diffusion-based image AI models and the large language models. Whether you are using Stable Diffusion or Midjourney, ChatGPT, or Bard, you are using an AI model that is trained to create new and novel media based on the media it has been trained on. When Midjourney creates an image, or ChatGPT, they are not only seeking to minimize the loss function on the next output, but they are also imagining. Conceptually speaking, there are clear analogs to how we perceive and create our imaginations and our creative outputs, and how AI models like Midjourney and ChatGPT do. They are the artificial engines of imagination that we have created based on the combined imaginations of all of humanity. So, what seems to be the problem then? Hallucinations seem to be the problem. Yet, are hallucinations really a problem, or are our reactions to artificial hallucinations a problem? When ChatGPT tells you something that isn't objectively correct, such as providing a fake citation, telling you there was a 69th president of the United States, or spouting rubbish about a country that never existed, is this a problem? Well, that rather depends, doesn't it? If we look at ChatGPT, and other models like it as the prototype for an AGI to solve all of humanity's concerns, then it is most definitely a problem. We can't have our godlike AGI be wrong about such a trivial fact as how many American presidents there have been. But if we look at large language models and diffusion art models as imagination engines, then there is nothing wrong with them hallucinating. In fact, the hallucinations of imagination automation stations become a cause for celebration. Imagine, if you would, that we banned all fiction because it wasn't objectively correct. What a drab, grey world we would be living in. Fiction, whether in print or on film, is the hallucinations of humanity. When ChatGPT hallucinates, it is merely doing what it is supposed to do. It is imagining. This isn't a bad thing. Curbing this artificial imagination is a bad thing. But I hear dissenting voices ask, how do we make use of hallucinations? How do we stop AI from hallucinating when we don't want them to? Very simple. I spoke earlier of narrow AI, those machine learning reasoning engines that are fantastic at doing one thing and doing that one thing very well. This is the reasoning engine to match the large language model's imagination. Combine a reasoning AI with an imagination AI, and you will have a way to curb imagination when it isn't needed, and allow it free rein when you want creativity. We need to stop thinking that one model alone will get us to AGI. We need to start thinking more of ensemble AI designs that take the best of what their constituents are made of. But that is all the time we have for today. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you will join me again next time as I delve into further questions about artificial intelligence and consciousness. I have been your guide, and this has been the guidebook to making AI friends.